fans, and we've got a lot of fans now, so I guess that means we're doing something right.
Yeah, when he got here, there was plenty of room on that bandwagon, and now it's a pretty tough ticket to catch a ride here to watch this Husky volleyball program. The 2005 national champion taking on the 1999 national champion, but it's a cliche to say that Penn State has been here before. Penn State has been here before. 26 consecutive NCAA tournaments, 15 of the last 17 years. They've been to the regionals, and of course they've gone on to the national semifinals on 5 different occasions, twice been the national runner-up, all because of the great job that Russ Rose has done for the last 28 years. So just because Penn State dropped game number 1, they are by no means the type of team that will fold under any type of pressure.
And we definitely saw that earlier today. Nebraska down 2 games to none and was able to come back and beat Minnesota. So great teams will rise when they need to. And Penn State, you know, obviously it's just one game. Although statistics say the game 1 winner wins the majority of the matches, doesn't mean they win all of them.
What a great swing and a kill by Jessica Swarbrick. Got way up in the air and hammered it straight down.
And again, that's one of the things. Penn State, they're just single blocking there in the middle. They're leaving Melissa Walbridge by herself. Her job is to try to take care of that middle. And when you've got a good pass like that, it's going to be very difficult to single block that middle and have success.
Lobbed over by Fawcett, dug up in the air by Courtney Thompson. And Morrison sets it free. Glass sends it deep into the corner. That's in for a kill.
It's the second time we've seen Glass do that tonight. Just push it up over the top of those Husky defenders and into that back corner. And again, that's the way you can really defend against the shallow defense employed by the Huskies.
3-1 Penn State early on game 2. Dug high in the air off the scoreboard. And here's Fawcett on the line with the kill.
And that's, again, we talk about Nicole Fawcett, just the absolute velocity with which she hits the ball. She's clearly one of the top players in the country. At 6'4", she's very agile, and like I said, she just really hits it hard. It's so hard to defend. Even if you expect it, doesn't mean you can always dig it.
That attack was into the net. Point for Washington out of the early timeout to close to within 3. That's a very early break called by Jim McLaughlin.
Well, he just sensed that things were getting away from his team. They weren't doing the things that they needed to do. And that, you know, it's very important to settle your team down early in a game, especially after they came through, got that big game 1 win. They obviously were a little bit out of sync there starting in game 2, so they got the big side out they needed. But again, Nicole Fawcett's just having one of those matches where everything she touches is gold, including her serve. She's been really the dominant force for Penn State offensively, and now doing it from the service line.
Nicole Fawcett has 10 kills in this match, 3 in this game already. It's 7-2 Penn State, last year's National Freshman of the Year. Another driving serve. Mussey lobs it over, and here's Hodge getting another kill for the Nittany Lions. Fawcett was last year's National Freshman of the Year. I would imagine Megan Hodge is the odds-on favorite to be this year's Freshman of the Year.
You would have to guess that Hodge is going to be the Freshman of the Year. If she's the Big Ten Player of the Year as a freshman, you can't imagine she's not the best freshman out there. But, you know, right now, Washington is their serve receive. And we talked about it early in the game. Russ Rose says, we've got to serve well. We have got to serve unbelievably tough. And right now, when Fawcett gets that ball in early in the game, we saw early in the match, she missed her first serve. And now she's going for it full-fledged, and it's made a huge difference. I think the attitude right now of Penn State, a much more aggressive team, and that's what they need to do. They can't sort of wait and see what happens. They're going to need to dictate tempo here in game 2.
That string of points put together by Nicole Fawcett got Penn State out to a 9-2 lead here in the second frame. Washington just got the last point on a kill by Mussey, and they add another one here on a service ace by Ashley Aratani.
She figures if Nicole Fawcett can hit it that hard, I can just get a little bit of a float and watch the bottom drop out, which is what happens on that play, and falls right in front of these Penn State passers.
Hodge from the 3-meter line. Gets it off of Miyashiro for the kill. Another kill for Megan Hodge. 10-4 Penn State. Let me ask you, you're a former coach. Which is it more difficult, the serve that is a rocket like we saw from Fawcett earlier, or those floating serves like we saw from Aratani a moment ago? Well,
you know, I think if you can jump serve and really, really hit it hard, then there is an advantage to that, I think, just because the sheer velocity is hard to control. But I mean, it is equally as difficult to deal with a ball that's floating around. You're trying to get set up and trying to get your platform to the ball, but the ball's location continually moves. So, you know, they each have, I think, their place in the game. And if you have a team that you can really mix that up and put a lot of pressure on the passers, then I think you're really in the best situation.
Penn State with a 5-point lead here. And a kill for Washington. That's Crystal Morrison, who for the most part has been fairly quiet in this match to this point.
Well, she has. You know, she does a lot of things well. Sometimes she doesn't always stand out. She's passing well, digging well, serving well, but she really can be an offensive force when things are going her way, and that's one of the things the Huskies will need to have happen tonight.
Oh my, that was teed up perfectly for Megan Hodge. She hammers it home. She has 8 kills in this match.
Well, and that's the mismatch that Penn State has. That's Hodge over Courtney Thompson, and Hodge taking advantage of being over Courtney Thompson. I think if you're Washington, you'll take that. You understand that Courtney Thompson is not the biggest blocker out there. She's going to give you other things, but she's not going to give you a lot of blocks, particularly against a kid like Megan Hodge.
Out of the back row, Stevie Mussey comes flying in and gets a kill right down the middle. Nobody up for Penn State. The middle blocker moving to the left and then open the door.
And Washington loves to do that. They don't do a lot in game 1, but they start throwing it in there in game 2. And again, just putting a lot more pressure on the blockers.
Another kill for Hodge. That's 9 for the freshman out of Durham, North Carolina.
Well, she's having a bigger game 2 than she had in game 1. She hit 0 in game 1. She had 5 kills, but she had 5 errors. But these teams have flipped, so now Hodge is hitting against Thompson. Last game, it was Fawcett hitting against Thompson. Now it's Hodge, so Hodge is going to get the swings against the smaller blocker. Might get her confident. If she gets confident, the Huskies need to watch out.
Yeah, she just sent that serve way, way long and gave a gift to Washington. Makes it a 4-point game, 12-8. Washington took game number 1, 30-27. Glass from her knees, tipped over by Armato. Here's Morrison, dug by Hodge. Here's Fawcett, rejected.
Fawcett's coming down saying, my fault, my fault. That ball was really, really high. The Washington blockers were there. She still just took a big cut at it, went a little bit low, and paid the price, finding a lot of Husky arm on that ball.
It was a slow developing play. She may have been better off just trying to tip it. I'm not sure that's in her vocabulary or her repertoire.
Well, she can off-speed from occasion, but when you're 6'4" and you reach as high as she does, both of these Penn State outside hitters are touching about 10-8 or so, which is way up there. That's elevating. That can attack most blockers higher than they can block. So that's one of the advantages and why you want to continue to be attack-oriented.
And there's a touch on the Penn State side. Melissa Walbridge, the middle blocker, was there in the way of the attack. That's a point for the Huskies, and it's a 3-point Penn State lead. The lead in this game has been as high as 7 points, 9-2 to Nittany Lions out of the gate. Fawcett will give us a shot again. This time she tips it deep, a little bit on that. Out of the back row, Morrison dug. Hodge will try it. She's turned away. Sawbrick with the rejection.
Hodge being very aggressive. Again, we're seeing a lot of really aggressive swings out of this Penn State team. Not always smart, but aggressive. And I still think right now Russ Rose will take aggressive.
Fawcett off the block. Good pass for Thompson. And a tip by Sandell.
And how quickly the momentum shifts in this game of volleyball. Penn State is just all over, doing everything right early in this game, had the Husky on the heels, and now the Huskies have come right back. They've got to push, and now they've got the momentum.
Morrison may have gotten away with a ball handling error. And Glass attacks again, hooked up by Morrison, set free. This is Fawcett using the tape and hitting it wide, and we are tied.
Fawcett's trying to get her teammates to settle down right now. I think this crowd is starting to rattle them a little bit, particularly when you've got a freshman setter out there. It's a lot of pressure to put on a player that young to be in this kind of an environment.
Mia Shiro with a flying dig, and Holhouse on the other side keeps it alive. Hodge digs it somehow. Fawcett rolls it free. Mia Shiro again in on the play. Mussey is turned away by Glass.
What great volleyball on both sides, and I can't tell you how impressed I am with Megan Hodge defensively. to be able to be that size and be able to dig the ball that she dug. Mira Sherrill on the other side with a great dig, but ultimately that size of Penn State with the big block.
Mussey with an attack and a kill off the block. But going back to that last point, I love the play of the two littler players, the smaller players, the little barrels just flying around whole house, and Mia Shiro. Swarbrick with the serve. And a free pass and a kill for Mussey. She now has 9 kills in this match to lead Washington. And Washington, with that kill, takes a 15-14 lead. Penn State ties it up on Salyer's attack.
Well, Cassie Salyer's not got the ball a whole lot tonight, and she's a very, very good offensive